Well, ladies and gentlemen, man oh man, where do we begin with all of this mess? You know what? Thinking about it right now, the filming for HBO's new reboot of Harry Potter hasn't even started, but you know what has? The controversy, and it is all surrounding the, how do you describe it? Oh yeah, intelligent casting of Professor Snape. As we all know by now, Paapa Essiedu has been chosen to play the beloved character, and even though I made a joke just a second ago, you can actually see why they have gone with somebody who really resembles Snape in it. Oh boy. But you can see why they've gone with somebody who really resembles Snape in every way, and fans are in total agreement with that. Oh wait, they're not. And it doesn't even matter what political beliefs the fans have. Collectively, a lot of them are not happy about this. Although saying that, I don't really know why people are surprised by all of this, because it is modern TV, so naturally a white character must be race swapped. It is now one of the three certainties in life: death, taxes, white characters getting race swapped. You think I'm joking, by the way, but it happens way too often for it not to be a certainty. However, things get even better for Paapa Essiedu, because recently he decided to do the very stunning and brave thing and virtue signal and essentially go against J.K. Rowling. You see, recently in the UK, we had a groundbreaking ruling where the Supreme Court declared that legally trans women are not women. And this upset thousands of woke activists who live in a fantasy land where in their minds, they think men can become women and deserve to go into women's spaces. Even Hollywood actors are deeply troubled by this. And this is where Paapa Essiedu and his virtue signaling come in, because he just signed a letter along with hundreds of other people within the industry standing in solidarity with the LGBTQ plus community. Wow. So stunning. So brave. Now, before we get into all of that and carry on with this story, if you could, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to leave a like rating, as it really helps out the video. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's continue. Paapa Essiedu, one of the stars of the new Harry Potter series, is among the hundreds of TV and film professionals who have signed an open letter calling for industry action on trans rights. Oh my gosh, this is just so emotional. The letter, expressing solidarity with the trans and non-binary community. Non-binary? What? Demands the industry institutions such as BAFTA, BBC, BFI, and Channel 4 commit to protecting and including trans people. It was started by Motive Pictures producer Sid Strickland and script editor Jack Casey just 2 weeks after the controversial UK Supreme Court ruling that defines a woman based on biological sex. Wow, I just simply can't believe it. How controversial is that? But Paapa Essiedu, along with the other bright individuals, are basically saying, hey look, we do not care about truth, reality, common sense. We do not care about a woman's basic right for her to have her own space without a dude going into there just because he says he's a woman. And you know what makes me laugh about all of this? For example, with Paapa Essiedu, his plan to virtue signal and look like an ally hasn't gone down too well with the community that he apparently cares so deeply about. The Daily Mail reported, exclusive, J.K. Rowling doesn't care about new Harry Potter stars' defiance, as he now faces backlash from trans community for virtue signaling. Wow. How embarrassing for this guy. You essentially go against the woman who has given you this opportunity, because without her, the books don't exist, the films don't exist, so the reboot that we don't really need, but that doesn't exist either, and you still manage to mess it up. Well done to you. But this is where the new bit of news comes in, because we hadn't officially heard from J.K. Rowling, although there were rumors, as the headline I just read out said a minute ago, you know, apparently she doesn't care, but there was never an actual statement until a couple of days ago, where she went on to post this on X. Now, you can see this is a very lengthy statement, so I'm not going to sit here and read all of this out, because we'll be here until tomorrow, but I'll briefly read out a couple of these paragraphs. In light of recent open letters from academia and the arts criticizing the UK Supreme Court ruling on sex-based rights, it's possibly worth remembering that nobody sane believes or has ever believed that humans can change sex, or that binary sex isn't a material fact. Yeah, well, it's the insane people that believe it. These letters do nothing but remind us of what we only know too well, that pretending to believe these things has become an elitist badge of virtue. I often wonder whether the signatories of such letters have to quieten their consciousness before publicly boosting a movement intent on removing women's and girls' rights, which bullies gay people who admit openly they don't want opposite sex partners, and campaigns for the continued sterilization of vulnerable and troubled kids. Do they feel any qualms at all while chanting the foundational lie of their religion: trans women are women, trans men are men? Probably not. But let's go on and read the end of this statement here. One seemingly harmless little white lie, trans women are women, trans men are men, uttered in most cases without any real thought at all, and a few short years later, people who think of themselves as supremely virtuous are typing, yes, pronouns are absolutely the hill I'll die on, rubbing shoulders with those who will call for women to be and for wanting all-female crisis centers, and furiously denying clear and mounting evidence of the greatest medical scandal in a century. I wonder if they ask themselves how they got here, and I wonder whether any of them will ever feel shame. Nah, of course they won't. They don't care. They're soulless vessels at the end of the day. Now, let's move on to this next part here where J.K. Rowling has talked about calls for this actor to be fired. J.K. Rowling goes on to say, I don't have the power to sack an actor from the series, and I wouldn't exercise it if I did. I don't believe in taking away people's jobs or livelihoods because they hold legally protected beliefs that differ from mine. Now, I do agree with her. He shouldn't be fired. I mean, me personally, he shouldn't have been casted in the very first place. More questions need to be asked surrounding that whole thing. But if you go ahead and fire this dude, you are no different from the woke activists, the woke liberals. Yes, we know if it was the other way around, they would fire whoever. But you have to be better than them. You can't sink to their level. You have to show that you are better. You are smarter. You're not emotionally unstable and react to everything so angrily. Again, I don't think he should have been hired in the very first place. I don't know who came up with the idea to race swap Professor Snape, but it was not a great move. And you could have saved yourself a lot of controversy, by the way, if you didn't do it, because look at the road he's now going down. You know, already there is a bad taste in the mouths of the fans because of everything that is going down. For example, you have somebody here who responded to J.K. Rowling, race swapping Snape is a terrible idea. Any other character other than Harry would have been better. Lupin, Flitwick, Fudge, literally any of them. Race swapping Snape is a terrible idea because it adds a non-existent racial undertone to his relationship with James, Sirius, and Lily, and you know that's what they're going for here. When it's on screen, that's what people are going to perceive it as, and that's what they want it to look like. It's so obvious. You can see what is going to happen. Now James and Sirius aren't just kids who are bullies, they're racist. Now Lily doesn't date Snape because he's her friend and is unattractive, it's because he's black. It makes Harry and Neville racist as well. Yeah, again, you know, what a terrible move to race swap Professor Snape, especially with the story that he has. I don't know how much involvement J.K. Rowling had with that whole thing. If she doesn't have the power to sack an actor, does she have the power to decide who plays whichever character? Who knows? For me, it is just so odd to see. And, you know, as that person says, you know the road they're going to go down with that whole story. But that is the end of the video. Leave your thoughts down below about everything discussed in this video. Again, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Share this video. But until next time, it has been your host, JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.